Hey guys, welcome to Mitch's Music. In this video, I'm going to take, there's a tear in my beer. I'm going to talk through the chords. I'm going to show you how to play it in the original key. I'm going to show you the strumming pattern. Later in the video, I'm going to talk through the chords, kind of talk through the theory of the chords and how you can write a song or at least use some of these techniques in a song that you're writing. And then also later in the video, if these chords are a little too tricky for you, I'm going to show you some ways that you can use a capo and change the key. So let's get started. So I did this song in the key of C. Now if you're listening to the recording, you're not easily going to be able to play along with this one because the key actually falls somewhere in this area. It's not quite tuned to standard tuning. I'm not sure what his tuning is. I would not call it just a flat tuning. It just seems like it's standard, but it's just off of the normal 440 tuning. So if you want to play along with it, then you're going to need to tune this up. So this is going to be a little sharper than for the recording. And so let's talk about the chords first. So you've got C, and then you're going to go G, then you're going to go back to C, and then F, back to C, D7, G. And for the most part, it's going to do this rhythm that's just a standard country rhythm. There's a couple of different country rhythms that you hear all the time, and this is one of them. And what it's doing is it's alternating between the root note of the chord and the fifth of the chord. So for C, you're going to go back and forth like this. So all I'm doing with that is I'm playing these bass notes as I come back up. And then I'm going down, up. Now if the down, up part is too hard, you can always do pick, down, pick, down, pick, down, pick, down. But for this one, I'm going to do pick, down, up, pick, just like that. Alright, so there's C. You start out there, keep going through that. Tear in my beer, 'cause I'm crying for you, dear. You are on my lonely. When you go to G, you're going to do that same rhythm. You're going to start on the G, and then you're going to do the down, up, and then you're going to go to D. Until these last 9 beers, I have shed a million tears. Then you're going to go back to C. Here we go. Alright, to F. When you go to F, you're going to bar it, or you can do it like this. So basically this F chord is the same as this one. It's just taking a few, you're just doing the bottom half of the chord. So they're roughly the same thing, just doing the bottom half of the chord here. I like this one because it sounds fuller. So if I'm doing this one, I'm just going to do pick this string down, up, then pick this string down, up. So E, E, A, E, A. If you're doing it this way, you're going to pick the D string and then the A string. Alright, so you're going to F. Back to C. Then you're going to go to a D7, and for a D7, I'm picking the D string and the A string. G. Back to C. D. G. Alright, let's go through that whole thing again. We're starting out on C. Here we go. There's a tear in my beer 'cause I'm crying for you, dear. You are on my lonely G. Until these last 9 beers I have shed a million tears. You are on my lonely mind. C. I'm gone. F. I keep drinking till I can't move a toe. D. And then maybe my heart won't hurt me so. There's a tear in my beer 'cause I'm crying for you, dear. D. You are on my lonely mind. And it kind of keeps following that pattern all throughout. Alright, so like I said, there's a couple of changes that you can make, and if you would like the full song, then check out the link below and you can get that. I have a site called Just the Tabs, and you can grab all of the tabs from that site, all of the songs from my videos. But for this one, I'm going to upload it and add it to my free resources. So you can click that below, join it, get it through the free resources. So check that out below. Alright, so let's talk about the chords. So if you're interested in writing songs, kind of learning about the chords and where the chords fit in, how they relate to each other, is a great way to just kind of understand how the songs do it. Now, I've heard so many people say, like, chords are just, for country, are just 3 chords, but he does something really cool in this song. So let's talk through the chords. So the C chord is the main chord of the key. It's in the key of C. And so the C chord is what we call the root chord. So the root chord is going to be the one that you normally end on unless you just want things to sound unsettled. So if you don't end on the root chord at the end of the song, it's going to not sound finished. And that's fine if that's what you're going for in the song. So this is the root chord. Then the first chord it goes to is the G chord. G chord is the 5th of the key of C. And so the G chord is what we call a dominant chord. The 5th chord in any of the keys are the dominant chords. Normally a 5th chord is something that you're going to end up on right before, sort of at the climax. So like when I do one phrase, I'm going to go to this G chord, and normally this chord is going to move back to the root. So when you go to a 5th chord, normally it's going to go back to C in this case. So G would go to C. Alright? And that's exactly what it does. So it's going to go to G, stay on G, to C. Now the next chord is an F. This is a 4 chord, and this is a subdominant chord. Now these can move in a couple of different directions. I mean, there are no real rules, but this one basically has a little bit less of a pull back to 1 than the dominant chords do. And so normally before it goes back to 1, in this case it does go back to 1, but normally before it goes back to 1, it's going to go to another chord, especially if you're establishing an ending. And so it goes 1, 5, 1, 4 is the F chord, and then it's going to go back to C. That's the 1, Now this is the really cool part. It goes to this D7. So if you know major keys and you know the chords that come from major keys, you know that a D7 is normally not in the key of C. So a D would actually be the 2 of this, and normally a 2 is minor. So if I did it just out of the notes in the key, it should sound like this. Doesn't quite have the same ring. So what's happening here? Well, what they're doing is they're making it a major 7 chord, and it's this thing called a secondary dominant. So what they're doing is they're borrowing this from the key of G, and the reason that they're borrowing this from the key of G is so that it has a stronger pull to get us over to that G. So you hear this, you've heard this all the time. You hear it in Star Spangled Banner, it's in Jingle Bells. So the secondary dominant is a great thing to use sometimes in your song. And normally it's gonna go to the 5th of the key. So we're in the key of C. So you would go to the 5th of that 5, secondary dominant, which is D, and then it goes to G. So how do we figure out the secondary dominant of where we are? So we're in the key of C. So the 5th of D, which would be the dominant, or the 5th of G, which would be the dominant chord of C. We would find that by counting to 5. G, A, B, C, D. So D would be the 5th note, or the 5th, or the dominant chord of G. And then we would land on G. So that's how we figure out that secondary dominant. So it would be D, G. All right. So what if those chords are too hard for us and we need to try it in a different key? Because a lot of people have trouble with C chords, with F chords, with G chords. So let's talk about a couple of ways that you can use the capo to change it up. So if we put the capo on the 3rd fret, so we're in the key of C. To play in the key of C with the capo on the 3rd fret, we can play it in the key of A. Alright, so now our chords would be 1, A is 1, E is 5, D is 4, and then our 5 of our secondary dominant, I can't remember that word this morning, our secondary dominant for this one would be the B7. And the way we figure that out, E is our dominant chord in this key. We're going to count to 5 from E. So E, F, G, A, B. So B7 would be the 5. So this one in this key would sound like this. You've got A, to A, D, A, B7, E, and then it goes back and kind of does that the same thing. So when I'm playing an A chord, that alternating rhythm, I'm going to go A, E, A, E. Alright? When I'm playing an E chord, I'm going to do it kind of like I did with the F. It's going to go E, A. When I'm doing the D chord, I'm going to go D, A. And then when I'm doing the B7 chord, I'm actually going to move this finger from the A string to the E string, and it sounds like this. Alright guys, so that is one way that you can do this on the capo. There are a couple of different ways. When you're playing in the key of C though, normally I try to keep my capo above the 5th fret, and every other version of this song, if we're staying completely in the key of C, it would take me at least to the 5th fret. So if I move up to the 5th fret, I could do it in G, so that would put us in G, and so our chords would be G, then C, D for our 5, G, then C for our 4, back to G, then it would go to A7 for our secondary dominant, then to D. Alright, and it would sound something like this. And I'm using the same method I did for the chords from the last one. D, back to G, C, G, A, but as you can hear, it kind of takes out some of the resonance on the guitar, and so a lot of times I avoid getting this high unless I just absolutely have to. And so in that case, I would probably just change the key, because there are a lot of different keys that you can get really, really close and just be a little off of the original key. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video, guys, and that's pretty much all I got for you today. I'm going to do several of these videos where I can just show you some different ways to play the songs. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll come back with a video or answer those in the comments. Sign up for the free resources below. Also, sign up for just the tabs below and get all of my tabs. I've got all over 300 at this point. I don't know the exact number. I have one course. I'm working on 2 more. And by the end of next year, I'm going to start working on a couple of other courses, just to kind of tie everything all together. So check it out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.